Welcome to another Peer Educator video. I hope you all had a relaxing and fulfilling Thanksgiving. This video will be an honest look at Thanksgiving break. I will be reviewing the good, the bad, and the ugly of Thanksgiving Thursday, Black Friday, and Football Sunday. Some of these aspects were placed subjectively, so take the categories bad or ugly with a grain of salt. You may disagree with some of these, which is completely understandable. I realize both Black Friday and Football Sunday extend on to other days during the weekend, but to simplify things, we'll box them into one day. Stick through the video and complete a quiz linked below in the video description to win one of these giveaways. This video is brought to you by UMEG and HRO. Please follow these accounts to get more information about campus events. Americans tend to overindulge in fast food and junk food. However, for those that can participate in the day of feast, it provides an opportunity to eat healthier foods such as cranberries, pumpkins, sweet potatoes, and corn, all of which provide numerous health benefits. Food isn't the only beneficial aspect of Thanksgiving. At home, it is tradition to go around the table to say what we are thankful for. I'm sure this is done at many of your tables as well. Research suggests that gratitude is good for our health. Gratitude increases a person's well-being, helps physical, emotional, and spiritual disorders, improves sleep, significantly lowers the risk of major depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and substance abuse problems. The number of benefits for a simple act is surprising, especially when we consider that there aren't any side effects to gratitude. Many people tend to toast holiday cheers with some sort of alcoholic beverage. Turns out, alcohol sales increased by over 250% around the winter holidays. Certain individual holidays generally have higher BAC averages. Thanksgiving, out of all other holidays, has the highest fatal car accidents, with 40% of them alcohol related. This is 12% higher than the annual average. The potential reasons for these increases can be attributed to high expectations and negative effects around Thanksgiving. People often expect the holiday to be more pleasant than it is. The dinner table can be host to difficult conversations, increased responsibilities, and overall holiday blues. To cope with this, it is easy to turn to drinking. Studies have found those with symptoms of depression and anxiety were more likely to result to drinking. The excessive drinking can cause holiday heart syndrome, a condition responsible for atrial fibrillation, also known as irregular heartbeats. The condition usually follows episodes of binge drinking and resolves within 24 hours of the last episode. Coincidentally, this condition tends to appear in older age groups outside of the college age during this time. This is likely because at home, most college students aren't drinking nearly as much as they do on the usual weekend. The elementary story of Thanksgiving many of us have heard from childhood is presented with positivity and friendship. Seen here is a rendition of the story by Charlie Brown and the Gang. Such positive versions promote a myth of America. This myth emphasizes a collective triumph while also erasing the collective wrongdoings of our budding national culture, evidently erasing a diverse narrative. Some even say presidential Thanksgiving commemorations can reinforce this narrative. The presidential Thanksgiving commemorations by Clinton, Bush, Obama, and Trump only occasionally refer to the roles natives had, none of which refer to the violence and genocide faced by the native people at the time. The historically accurate story is considerably darker. The circumstance of events prior to the first Thanksgiving were brutal. In the first winter, 44 of the 102 settlers died due to disease, exposure, and starvation. In the spring, native Samoset arrived, establishing first contact with the colony. From then, the translator Squanto and the head sachem Massasoit would be instrumental in the agricultural growth of the colony. A treaty of mutual protection and assistance would be created. Unlike the children's book's renditions, the Thanksgiving wasn't considered a Thanksgiving. It was a period of feast following a plentiful harvest. The native warriors in attendance weren't originally invited to the feast. The reasons behind the sudden arrival are unclear. Some suggest the native warriors appeared to defend the colonists after hearing gunshots. Others say it was to remind the pilgrims of who was in control. Upon finding the festivities, the natives brought back 5 elk to contribute. Accounts of toasts given by Pilgrim leaders didn't acknowledge the Native role in the Pilgrims' survival. The harmony between two distinct cultures would be brief as more colonists arrived. Ultimately, capitalist opportunity and puritanical beliefs would incentivize English settlers to eliminate and subjugate Native populations. With this reality in mind, we must realize that Thanksgiving can take on a different meaning for those holding Native identities. For many Natives, Thanksgiving is a day of mourning. The day is meant to highlight the continued wrongdoing done against Native Americans, as well as correct historical inaccuracies while adding context to monuments and museums. The overall intent is to bring forward the often overshadowed but important perspective that Natives hold. That's not to say you shouldn't enjoy Thanksgiving. By all means, eat to your heart's content and enjoy the time you spend with your family. Just be aware that our National Day of Thanks isn't the perspective that all of us hold, and viewing the holiday and its historical accuracy is a necessary step in progressing our culture. This year I was financially conscious and didn't end up in the negative 30 minutes into Black Friday. Like millions of other Americans, I was up at 3 a.m. last Friday buying Christmas gifts for my family and, just as importantly, myself. The honorary holiday helps boost the economy each year. The tallies for dimes and nickels spent in 2020 are in the process of counting. However, in 2019, Americans spent $7.4 billion on Black Friday and $4.2 billion on Thanksgiving. Brick and mortar sales were up 4.2% according to Fiserv. Woosley estimated that consumers spent $29 billion between Thursday and Monday. Adobe predicts that the short period of 5 days accounts for approximately 20% of the $143.8 billion spent during the 2019 holiday season. The numbers don't lie. Black Friday is good for business, just maybe not so much for the average American. It's all too easy to absolutely kill one or two paychecks with all these deals and steals. Let's be real here. There are unsung heroes of Black Friday deals. Let us have a moment of silence and gratitude for the poor souls that have to work those brutal Thursday and Friday shifts. It's no easy task. Many employees are subject to subprime labor conditions during this period, such as erratic scheduling, long hours, low pay, and little time for family. Employees from numerous businesses have protested unfair labor practices. Guest employees held a protest at 45 retail stores in response to a mass firing of workers following a drive to unionize. In 2019, workers from H&M protested unsafe working conditions, such as limiting pregnant workers' bathroom breaks. Walmart staff walked out over a lack of pay and unfair treatment. It turns out Walmart labels truck drivers as independent contractors to save money from Black Friday discounts. This means truckers lose access to healthcare benefits, unemployment benefits, and are often paid beneath minimum wage once cost of business has been deducted from pay. Some have even been left with negative paychecks. At Amazon fulfillment centers, the season of shopping culminates in unsafe working conditions due to pressure to fill higher volumes of orders at a higher pace. As mentioned, big business earns a large margin of profits, but it appears employees help to pay for that too. Their payment isn't just clocked hours, but also blood, sweat, and tears. The sight of customers piled against the door like zombies sounds frightening. We really should give grace to Black Friday employees because they also have to deal with elevated rates of crime. On Black Friday, there's a 2% increase of theft on average. Excluding theft away from home, as in theft from businesses, there's an increase of 28%. I'm sure you all have seen customers throwing hands for the last flat screen. Security attempts to intervene, and worst comes to worst, police officers step in and escort the perpetrators to a squad car. Unfortunately, between 2006 and 2018, 44 Black Friday incidents in America have left 11 dead and 109 injured. The combination of all these negative things puts a strain on those working Black Friday. Black Friday is a complicated day of deals. For some of us, it's chilling on the couch in our jammies, purchasing all sorts of things. For others, it's on the front lines, battling the multitude of Karens and Franks with little to no energy left in reserve. So this holiday, take the time to be polite to retail staff. Retail staff, surprisingly, are people too, and showing some kindness can go a long way. The NFL is quite the moneymaker. In 2019, the corporation earned approximately $15.3 billion. It could be reasoned that they could donate more of this to the numerous nonprofits in need, but that aside, the money they do donate to good causes shouldn't go unnoticed. Following this summer's protest, they pledged to donate over $250 million in a 10-year period to combat systemic racism. Over a 9-year period, the NFL donated $44 million to military nonprofits. In response to COVID, more than $35 million has been donated for COVID relief. Some of these donations went to nonprofits such as Boys and Girls Club, Meals on Wheels, and Salvation Army. The NFL has improved their image in relation to LGBTQ+ issues as well. The Tennessee Titans worked in collaboration with the Nashville LGBT Chamber to release a statement urging the state not to move forward with anti-LGBT legislation that targeted same-sex couples, trans folks, and would undermine anti-discrimination measures passed by Tennessee's towns and cities. In 2016, the NFL threatened to pull Atlanta's Super Bowl bid if the state passed legislation seen by some as a license to discriminate against LGBTQ+ citizens. However, football is a brutal sport. It kills the mind and body. Seeing players get hit, knocked out cold, sends shivers down my spine. So unsurprisingly, there's substantial concern about players' safety. For retired players, receiving disability benefits can be exceptionally difficult. Players such as Andre Royal, a retired linebacker, claims he and others with brain injuries have had their pensions undercut by their union. The benefits plan he currently has access to provides a mere $4,000 a month, nowhere near enough to pay for the medical costs combating his current ailments. Currently, a class action lawsuit has been filed against the NFL Player Retirement Plan. This lawsuit seeks to halt the aggressive changes to the Burt Bell Pete Rozelle NFL Player Retirement Plan that participants say will reduce or eliminate certain disability benefits. Shockingly, not all pension plans are created equal. The steps forward in retired player support aren't retroactive. In 1993, a collective bargaining agreement was signed between the NFL and the Players Union, granting more than $1 billion for severance packages, 401k retirement plans, and a doubling of pensions. Players who retired prior to 1993 weren't granted access to this change. The NFL isn't entirely progressive in team and administrative culture. With over 100 years of play, only 14 of thousands of players have come out as LGBTQ+. Despite players such as Ryan O'Callaghan claiming that there's at least one queer player on every NFL team. Approximately 70% of NFL athletes are black identifying, however, out of 32 head coaches, only 5 of them are black. 2 of these coaches are interim coaches. Recently, 3 head coaches were hired and all of them were white. Despite corporate policy mandating diverse hiring, it is obvious that the NFL lacks substantial rates of diversity among its head coaches. Football isn't my sport of choice, but I understand its appeal. The NFL can do quite a lot to improve the overall health and livelihood of its players, and is likely to do so under pressure from fans and players alike. It will be a difficult fight, but one that must be achieved to increase the sustainability and health of the sport. To be clear, the purpose of this video isn't to critique anyone for enjoying any of the 3 days mentioned. It is important to recognize each associated day is complicated in nature. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please complete the quiz linked in the description to have a chance at winning one of these amazing prizes. Follow our social media as well. For those of you listening before finals, good luck. For those of you after, I hope they went well. Thank you and take care.